Hello and welcome to this short supporting tutorial about foundation barista coffee making. First, let's talk about you, the barista. A barista should always be neatly put together in a clean and correct uniform. Smart personal appearance with the best in personal hygiene standards. A barista should have an outgoing personality, polite demeanour with eagerness to provide efficient, knowledgeable service whilst creating an efficient environment. Being a barista is more personable than you might first think. At the end of the day, you're not just preparing a beverage that someone is going to put to their lips and savour. You're creating an experience and a memory. As a good barista, you need to follow the technical process in order to get the best result. In the following short video, you will get a basic understanding of what you need to know as a barista, from making coffee to cleaning at the end of the day. Machine setup is part of the daily routine. Running shots through each portafilter has the same purpose as running pints through beer lines. Know your recipe and variables. Just like with baking or making cocktails, making a great coffee requires knowing how much of each ingredient you need and the variables you need to control to ensure your desired shot. Let's find out a little bit about coffee. In effect, coffee beans have been divided into two main types, Arabica and Robusta. The main difference, besides being different species of the same plant family, comes down to flavour and characteristics of the actual bean. Same family, different characteristics. Keep in mind that every single type of bean or variety can vary in quality and flavour. Often unpredictable growing conditions and process methods will produce varying flavour profile resulting in the cup. A successfully grown coffee bean exhibits a completely distinct set of characteristics when grown in one location as compared to another. Arabica coffee beans. According to the International Coffee Organization, more than 60% of the world coffee production comes from Arabica cultivators. This was a type of bean that started off the whole coffee story in Ethiopia, and it still grows best in higher elevations. Glorious in smell, Arabica flowers appear only after a couple of years and produce elapicidal fruits, inside which are two flat seeds known as coffee beans. Robusta coffee beans. Robusta is Arabica's street-smart younger brother. Despite its flavour being considered less refined, Robusta is widely used in espresso blends because it's known to produce better crema than Arabica. It's handier, more resistant to disease and produces better yields. It also packs more caffeine. The grinder. Your grinder is where good espresso preparation begins. A high-quality grinder with sharp burrs will produce more even and consistent little coffee particles to extract all the good coffee flavours from. The barista can adjust the size of the particles the grinder produces by tightening or loosening the grind. Tightening makes the grind finer and loosening makes the grind more coarse. The dose. Your dose is the amount of coffee you place in your portafilter. It is the coffee part of your recipe. Your range of dose is dictated by the size of basket you are using. Whether it is a 7-gram single basket, a 14 to 18 gram double, or an 18 to 22 gram, the dose you use should fit within the range the basket was built for. You can train yourself to be pretty consistent, eyeballing your dose, or you can use a scale and a measure within 1/10 of a gram. Either way, if you've got an inconsistent dose, your shots will vary drastically. Distribution. Once the coffee is in the portafilter basket, often it is necessary to move the ground around a bit to create an even bed of coffee. There are many ways you can choose to distribute coffee within the portafilter basket. Some baristas use their finger or fancy distribution tool, and others just tap the edges of the portafilter to move the grounds around in the basket. The goal here is to be as even as possible before tamping. Tamping. This is the process of compacting the coffee grounds into the portafilter. Tamping serves two purposes. One is to create headspace between the group head and the coffee. The other is to evenly pack the coffee ground to the maximum density. Clean your portafilter. Before dosing the coffee to your portafilter, make sure that the portafilter is clean and tidy. Both moisture and leftover grinds might make your future espresso taste over-extracted and astringent and better. The dose. This should be pretty easy. With on-demand grinders, you just need to push a button with your portafilter or hand, and the grinder will dose your preset dose. If you want to be a really professional and geeky barista, check your dose on the scale before distributing and tamping. This way you can be quite sure that your extraction will be correct because your dose won't be too much or too little. Distribute your grounds in the portafilter. Most likely your grinder will dose the grounds to the portafilter's basket or mountain or a pyramid shape. This means that you got an uneven distribution of grounds, so some parts of the basket will have more coffee and some parts less if you don't distribute them before tamping. Bad distribution of grounds might need to channeling. Tamp evenly and consistently. The aim of tamping is to remove any air pockets in the puck and do this so that the puck is completely leveled. Tamp so long and hard that you feel that the puck is compressed. Pay attention that the puck is horizontally level so that you avoid channeling and over or under or uneven extraction. Rinse your group head. Before inserting the portafilter to the group head, you might want to rinse the group head to remove any old coffee from it. Rinsing will also make sure that your group head is properly heated, and in this way you might be able to extract more coffee. Insert the portafilter and start brewing immediately. After rinsing, insert the portafilter to the group head and start brewing immediately. If you don't start brewing immediately, the heat from the group head might burn the surface of your coffee, which leads to bitter notes in the cup. Be aware of the yield and brew time. Now you are brewing your espresso. If you are using a volumetric machine, be aware of your brew time. In case of too short extraction time or too long extraction time, you might want to make a new espresso and/or check your grind size and dose. If you are using a manual espresso machine, be aware of your yield. For example, if your espresso is running a bit too fast, you are just diluting your espresso and possibly over-extracting at the same time. Serve with a smile. If you followed these steps and you're using a good brewing recipe, most likely you will have a tasty espresso in the cup. It is important to remember that we baristas are in the hospitality business, so be sure to serve your customers well. Tell them a little bit about the coffee you're using and what kind of flavors they should be expecting from espresso. And most of all, smile. With a tasty espresso served with a smile, you can make someone's day. Discard the puck, clean the basket, and rinse the group head. After serving, keep the place neat and tidy. Clean the basket from any old coffee and moisture. Rinse the group head and insert the portafilter back into the group head. It is much easier, faster, and nicer to make the next espresso when places are in order. Steamed milk. When I say steamed milk, I'm referring to cold milk that has been steamed with high pressure wand on an espresso machine. The wand forces hot air between the milk's proteins, warming it up and creating a fine microfoam on the surface. Most coffee shops put a standard double shot of espresso in every espresso and milk drink, no matter what size. So when you're determining the size, you're usually deciding how much milk you want. Milk steaming tips. Always start with cold milk, keeping in mind that milk with a lower fat content is usually easier to texture. Use the correct size pitcher for the amount of milk you are steaming. Learn to pour only the amount of milk needed for the drink you are making in the most appropriately sized steaming pitcher. Keep in mind when pouring your milk that the amount you pour can expand as much as double than the original volume with steaming. Don't forget to purge the steam wand. Start introducing air up to 100 degrees. This is achieved by holding the steam tip just under the surface of the milk, stretching the milk while it is expanding. Begin to roll the milk by plunging the steam wand entirely into the pitcher, creating rapid, swirling circulation. Bring the temperature to 140 degrees or the pitcher is too hot to touch. Bang out any bubbles by hitting the pitcher on the counter. Swirl the steam milk to prevent separation from beginning to occur. When these steps are followed, latte art will become second nature. Things to avoid while steaming: bobbing the pitcher up and down, moving the pitcher in a circular motion, setting the pitcher down while steaming. Your goal is to create fine, velvety, small-celled, textured, foamed milk. Cleaning. Like all pieces of equipment, in order for your coffee machine to stay in top condition, you need to look after its maintenance and clean it thoroughly and nightly. Follow the manufacturer's cleaning instructions for optimum results. Basic instructions are: empty, wash and rinse the drip tray. Clean portafilters. Clean steaming wands, but do not leave in water overnight as they will suck up the water. Meet and greet. The meet and greet can often be the first impression of a customer's journey. If you deliver a warm, honest, hospitable welcome, it sets a great tone and will be remembered. Being polite is a must to show hospitality is memorable. If you greet in the same generic repeat manner, it's obvious. Hello, good evening, welcome, can I take your coats? If this is said in one long sentence without pause in between, without even a chance to answer, it's obviously generic. Take time to let people engage. You should already know how to continue the brief encounter in the manner they would like, and with a little more meaning and genuine hospitality. Meet and greet. To be greeted efficiently is a minimum, but by reading body language and facial expressions, use of language and tone can quickly adapt your style and gauge how you'd like to be treated and cared for. When correctly greeting people openly, you can gather a lot of information that can enhance their experience. For example, is the table allocated suitable? Would a quieter corner suit them? Do you need to consider anything? The distance to the bathroom? Atmosphere in the room? Are they celebrating something that you can pass on to a waiter or a team member? Reading your customers, assessing and meeting them in the style and fashion that is appropriate and makes them feel comfortable. It could be a corporate meeting, family gathering, one of many celebrations, a first date, first breakaway from the baby in a year. You will change your approach accordingly. Constantly reading and assessing your approach, which in turn will determine delivery and monitoring of the service you will provide. Cleaning. Having a fully stocked area at the start of service will allow you to be prepared. Cleaning as you go will allow you to keep order and harmony in your space and with your work colleagues. After a few orders, everything will be somewhere it should not be. You will waste time looking for items, and slowing yourself down will only put yourself under more stress. Grinder and machine cleaning. Wipe any spills, splatters, coffee granules, chocolate powder, coffee beans, etc. Again, if you do not do it as you go, you will regret it later, as you will get really busy and your work area will look a mess to onlooking customers. Handling customer complaints. When a customer wants to bring a complaint to your attention, what do? Firstly, you will always give full attention to the complaint that is being made. Always listen rather than be waiting for your turn to speak. Take the meaning of the complaint the best you can without engaging in extra conversation, as you want to report the situation to management as soon as possible. Explain exactly what the customer said to you without prejudice. Not your version of what was said, but exactly what they said. You will have your chance to explain your version of events, depending on the nature of the grievance. When someone has a grievance, they need to tell you. They need to get it off their chest, but most importantly, they want to be heard. Dealing with complaints is a skill to be learned. You need to let people know that you hear them. You understand completely what they are saying. Rescuing the situation. Turn it around. Change the atmosphere. Do not avoid. Take the easy way out. Dig deep and then turn it around. Reading body language, facial expressions, taking so much into account, but trying not to take it personally. Amazing professionalism when you rescue a situation. You will see people again more likely build a new customer relationship. Pass it to management correctly. Do not manipulate the situation and make it worse. Honesty is really the best policy. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this short video. We really hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any further questions, please drop us an email to contact@trainedin.global.